Greetings and salutations from central Louisiana, about 4 miles west of Dry Prong. It is an overcast day. We've had a little bit of a shower. Everything here is good. It's a very beautiful day. I've talked a little bit before about my Marvel Schrader carburetor off this John Deere project tractor. It's the one that came with it in a box of parts. As I've told people before, I found out it is a DLTX-8, which is actually for a John Deere Model A. It is a multi-fuel carburetor. And these are all the various parts scattered out. Some would say sound like a good way to lose parts, but this is what I pulled out of it. I could not get the choke plate vane out because the little screws there were so corroded over. I'm afraid to mess with them because if I break that shaft for the choke, I'm going to end up having to spend 30 bucks for a new one. Throttle shaft looks pretty good. It's even got a little felt washer at the top there, which some of them had, some of them didn't according to the parts book I looked at. And I've got a new screen on the way. I'm not sure if I need it or not, but hey, I've been replacing bits and pieces, and all these little these little drill plugs here are kind of boogered a little bit. Had to make one, I told y'all the other day. But here are all the replacement parts that I have in hand so far. The big reason I dug back into this carburetor was he was missing this. I said, if it's missing that, then I wonder what else it's missing. So we went to digging and found bits and pieces and cleaning out, but basically it's fairly clean. Although who had it before me really boogered these little pivot screws that held the axle that the float resides on, which float looks like it's in good shape, which was a plus. But yeah, it's just about $30 a lick when you go to buying parts. But I did buy a brand new gasket set to make sure I had, if I'm going this route and I've gone to this point, I might as well make it right. So the main body is over, still soaking in the carb cleaner. I've opened up the passages and I've cleaned them out and blown them out, and this is the final soak before I blow them out for the final assembly. And once my little screen comes in that I ordered, I'll put it all back together and we'll see how it works. As an aside, this little throttle nozzle was interesting to get out. I was able to run a piece of thread all the way up and have enough room to pull it back to get it to break the bond. But then to get it out, I had to lightly thread the inside of the bottom and throw a bolt up in it so I could pull it out. Now a lot of y'all folks talk about doing it with pliers under washers. I simply put a socket there with a piece of all thread threaded into it, and then run a nut and a washer down the all thread and use that pressure to back it out. It seemed to work fine, but I will show you this again whenever I finish. And here is my rebuilt Marvel Schrader carburetor. I'm not sure I pronounced that right, but y'all will forgive me. It says it here on it somewhere, but it's DLTX-8. I decided to go with a green bowl and leave the bronze brass body alone with some black highlights here and there. So I did buy a full gasket set for it. Some would say why, and I would say, well, I'd make sure I got them all. But it did go back together. The only thing I didn't do with it is in here on the choke vane. I did not do anything with these two screws here. I have replacement screws, but it is working. I'd love to have a little more modern choke lever here, but to do that I got to get these screws loose and out, and I have a feeling the way they felt to me, if I put too much pressure on it, these are going to snap, which will leave me no option but to go in here and cut this to work this out, and then I'd have to pay 30 bucks for a new shaft. Here's what they cost. So not going to do that.